everybody. Jackie here again. Yes, how are you doing? Are you okay? I hope so. So another lesson, shall we? Okay, so gerund and infinitive. Okay, part 1. Because you're gonna have part 2, but not next class. Yeah, next unit you have part 2. So page 29, language workshop. Okay, so go to your book later to do the exercises. Now stay here with me. We're gonna be looking to verb patterns, which is easy to understand but hard to remember. Okay, so even if you know English well, you will find it difficult because native speakers normally do find it difficult. Okay, so what are they? What are gerunds? For starting, what's gerund and infinitive? So gerund is the ing and infinitive is the to. Okay, so dancing, sleeping, studying, gerund or ing, and infinitive to dance, to sleep, and to study. I'm sure you remember that. Now, have a look at this sentence we got here. I want to sleep, I need to study, I love reading, I enjoy playing video game. How many verbs can you see in each of these two sentences, and what happened to the verbs? 2 verbs, and the second verb takes a different form. Okay, which forms are there? Infinitive or ing? Yes? Really, that's what we're going to be studying today. So sometimes some verbs will always ask for ing, and some verbs will always ask for infinitive. Okay, so it's a characteristic of the verbs to require ing or infinitive, and we need to remember them. Okay, so when the 2 verbs are together, the second will take ing or will take infinitive. Never both. Okay, you're not gonna use infinitive and ing, one or the other, or none. There is a bare infinitive, but we're gonna see the bare infinitive next unit. It is difficult for everybody, native speakers, learners. It's hard because sometimes you take only infinitive, sometimes take only gerund, sometimes takes both. Okay, and you need to remember those things. So the best way to learn is by noticing in the context, reading. If you're writing and you're not sure, you have to check a good dictionary to make sure you're writing correctly. And that's not just because you're a learner. Yeah, remember, in Portuguese you do check things to see if it's right or not. So the more you see them, the more you will remember. First, to be infinitive. When do I use the infinitive? Some verbs always take the infinitives. Here are some examples. Your book, page 71. Page 71, your book has a very nice list of the most common ones. I selected few. Agree to follow, learn to study, choose to stay home, decide to travel, want to break, need to pass. So these verbs always take infinitive form. Okay? Now for gerunds. Consider studying, enjoy traveling, suggest looking, recommend staying home. So these verbs, consider, don't mind, can't stand, feel like. So these verbs are always followed by a gerund form. Sometimes they can take both. So some verbs take only one type, some verbs can take both. For example, begin, continue, start, prefer to stay home or prefer staying home, it makes no difference, okay? They mean the same, it doesn't change the meaning. However, there are few verbs that if you change from gerund to infinitive, it changes the meaning. Those are the hardest ones. We're going to look into them today. But luckily there are not many. So first, mean doing or mean to do. So working in London means leaving home at 6:30. Mean plus ing is a result of something. Okay, so if you mean doing something, you have a consequence of that. So the fact that I wake up at 6 is a consequence of living in London. Okay? Mean to do. I didn't mean to make you cry. If you mean to do something, is not a consequence, is a intention. Okay, so if you intend to do something, oh, I mean to tell you earlier that blah 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 blah. Okay? Go on doing and go on to do. Go on doing. Remember the past of go is went, so I can say went on as well. Very commonly used in the past, go on. So he went on singing after everybody else had finished, carried on. Went on doing means carried on. But go on or went on to do means stop and do something differently. So she recited a poem, then went on to sing a lovely folk song. She recited a poem, stopped it, and went on to sing. Stop one thing to do another. And go on doing, you carry on. It's tricky, yeah? Try doing and try to do. If you try doing something, is an experimental thing, okay? So, for example, try drinking a cup of tea for your cold. Is a trial, okay? And if you try to do something, normally implies to something hard or something difficult. Oh, I tried to open the door, but I couldn't, okay? I tried to email Simon, but he bounced it back. He didn't get it. Normally involves a trial, but with some bad results or difficult results. So it's a try in a slightly different way. It's not a recommendation, and it's not like experimenting something, like trying doing. Stop doing, stop to do. So if she stopped crying as soon as she saw her mother, there is the action and she stopped. Stop doing, full stop. But if we stop to do something else, for example, we stopped to buy some water on the way. We were driving and we stopped to do something differently. We stopped driving to buy water. So one, you just stop an action, the other one, you stop to do something else. Okay, there are more examples we're gonna have a look at, and when you're doing the exercises, it's actually easy to remember and to understand the different meanings. Okay, a lot easier than just seeing me talking here. Remember doing, remember to do. So if you remember doing something, is normally related to a memory. It's like looking back in the past. Okay, so you close your eyes, oh, I remember doing that. I remember, what's the sentence that I remember locking the door. So you close your eyes and you think, I remember locking the door. Okay, so you have a memory about that. And remember to do is equivalent to not forget or don't forget. So I never remember to lock, so I always forget to lock the door. Different from looking at the past. This is more a present situation. Remember to study for your test, okay? Forget and remember are very similar. So in the ing, I will never forget meeting you is a memory. So you remember doing it, so you never forget doing this, okay? Is a looking back in the past, is a flashback. And the infinitive works again in the present situation. He forgot to lock the door, so he didn't remember, okay? So they work like together and in a very similar way. Last one but not least, like most of the time, it doesn't make a big difference, okay? Sometimes you don't even see that. There is a subtle difference between these two, but I think it's important that you know. If you say like to do something, okay? So if you like to study in the morning, you're doing it not for the enjoyment. You're doing it because it's the best thing to do. So I like to study in the morning because my brain works better, because my mind is fresh and I learn better, okay? That's the reason for you to do in the morning. But if you just say I like Studying is just for enjoyment. It's like I enjoy studying, I like studying, I love studying. They are more related to pleasure than like to do something, okay? Very subtle difference. A lot of times it makes no difference, but sometimes when you want to express a necessity rather than pleasure or an enjoyment, you're gonna opt for like to do something. A lot of information, I know. Did I say practicing is the best thing to remember? Yes? Okay. I prepare some activities for you. Of course, you there, so if you don't have time or if you can't or if you don't want to do it, but I'm giving you the possibility, okay? So I prepare a flashcard, songs, is more than one song, is an activity. It's a very nice activity with a lot of songs. Let's see if you know these songs. They're not very new, but anyway. There's a movie activity, a quiz. The quiz is very important because it works with the different, the ing and infinitive that change the meaning. And all the activities, there is an explanation for you to understand why is one or the other. So I really recommend that one. And there is an exercise on the book. Okay, so shall we go? Shall we try? First, flashcards. You're gonna click on the link in the PowerPoint. You click the link and you're gonna have some cards with the word, and then you have to decide if it's ing or infinitive, and then you turn. You're just practicing and you're gonna see them. Songs. There's a worksheet. You're gonna click there and then you have to complete the sentence with that word. Okay, try to do that. There are many words, and you click on the little link, the yellow link, you click to listen to that part. I think there are 4 or 5. Big Bang Theory, I'm a great fan, don't know if you like it, but there is a scene, a short scene, 4 minutes, and you have to complete the sentences with ing or infinitive. That's the one I highly recommend, so it works with the different meanings. And the book brings a very simple exercise. Personally, I don't believe that's enough. It's important content. You will see again next unit infinitive and gerunds, but you're gonna see in a different context and in a different way, not only working with the verbs isolated, but working in a sentence as a subject or object. So we're not gonna look again into these verbs, and you do need it a lot in English. Yeah, it's everywhere. So I think no more. I think the lesson is not difficult, but requires a lot from you, because you need to practice, and then you're gonna benefit from it because you learn. Okay, see you next class. Thank you very much for being here, and I hope you're well, and see you soon.